All right, Anton, we are in the middle of everything. Ladies and gentlemen, please do come in. Please do take some seats. Anton, for the next 30 minutes, the stage is yours. I hope we can achieve what we came here to do. There are a lot of chairs here. That means we need to fill them up. Please,
yes.
Who is coming on the stage?
All right. Hi, everybody. I believe it's going to be a very interesting panel to hear, specifically for people who are thinking at some point to join deep tech startup creation, who are willing to become a founder, whether they are scientists or entrepreneurs, whether they are also investment funds, to understand what is happening here in our startup creation processes in Commercialization Reactor and in Latvia. So I would like to welcome to this stage to join me for the discussion a very specific panel that I specifically designed to show all stages, all early stage startup creation moments. So from entrepreneurial side, I would like to invite Matej Peretin, who is founder and CEO at AlgaeMass. Matej is an entrepreneur who has just recently created his deep tech startup. So he is an entrepreneur. He does not do science, and he's full-time focused on business development. Therefore, he is working with scientists and commercializing the particular scientist's achievements. And from another side, I would like, therefore, to invite a scientist, but from a different team, to see how it works not just in one team, but in different teams. I would like to invite Dr. Nikolaos Georgopoulos. He is Associate Professor in Cell Biology at the University of Huddersfield and co-founder at VeritaCell. So, and for you to really see, we already have two people not from Latvia. So Matej is from Croatia and Nick is from UK. And let's continue this tradition of inviting people who are not from Latvia to this panel. I would like to invite Alina Santa Izabel, who is Innovation Ecosystem and Partnership Manager at DIGITALWELL Arena. Welcome. Yes, so Alina represents, she wears different hats. She is EIC jury. She is also, she works with startups as accelerator with the DIGITALWELL Arena. So we will discuss this in this direction as well and see the point of view from this particular angle. Next, I would like to invite Ilona Gulchak, Chairperson of the board at Commercialization Reactor Fund. If somebody doesn't know Ilona yet, hi. Hi. Yes, Ilona is head of Commercialization Reactor Fund, basically, and in deep tech startup creation for quite a long time. So very knowledgeable person to listen to in terms of how investors see this in deep tech at very early stage. So, and I would also like to invite Arnis Pūciņš, who is head of Investment Promotion Division, Investment and Tourism Agency of Riga.
Yes, hello.
Hi. Please take a seat. And so yeah, two speakers now that we just invited are from Latvia. So, and what's remarkable is that most are not. We're speaking about deep tech startup creation, something really international, something cross-border, something to fulfill your ambitions in creating something meaningful and remarkable. Therefore, I would already start with a question to Nick. Nikolaos, you are a scientist. You don't do business, but you are a co-founder of a deep tech startup. So, but full-time focus on scientific aspect. Can you please tell the audience, and with our mission today to inspire people to not stay aside, but really, if you have this passion, to do something about it, how this journey worked out for you?
Yes, thank you for inviting me. It was a life-changing experience. As you said, as a scientist, you know what you do, you have your expertise, and you can do very interesting things in the lab. But at some point, if you have the opportunity to make something become a real product, then this is essentially what it meant for us. My expertise is in cell biology. We have the opportunity to do things that could help patients. Our companies essentially created a methodology to accelerate wound healing in potentially every hospital in the world for every burns patient, and so on and so on. So it was an amazing chance to see some science that could turn into a real device, a real product, a real technology that could transform the lives of people around the world. So it was essentially, that's what it allowed us to achieve. So I'm very grateful for that.
Tell me a bit more about your team.
The team, I guess with every team, it's like a marriage. Some things work out, sometimes they don't. We were very lucky. The team that came together was essentially, as a scientist, you need to be prepared to work with people who are not scientists, which, by the way, is incredibly rewarding experience because they ask you very good questions. So the team came together in such a way that they had their own expertise, they had their own skills, and they allowed us to literally make this a reality. So we had good communication, which is key. We came here open-minded as scientists, and we put full trust in them to help us do what we cannot do. There are certain things we can do, and there are certain things we cannot do, and that's the commercial side.
And as a scientist, what were steps to get to start your company from your perspective?
So
what exact things did you do?
Essentially, it is, as a scientist, it depends. If you have the experience to have worked with commercial entities, it helps you a little bit. But I appreciate some scientists would have not had the opportunity at all. So there are certain things you need to be fully aware. The IP, and so on and so on. And also being able to know what type of market research to do, what people to connect with. So these are essential steps at the beginning. Create a business model, see the need for the market. And our team was a bunch of very hard-working people. One of them sat in the audience. Who were asking the right questions, connecting us with the right people, and essentially putting the foundations for us to be able to create what we did.
So this is basically wrapping up is delegation of all business development activities and headaches to a different person for allowing you to continue your academic career.
Absolutely. You have to be aware what you can do and what you cannot do. You might think so, but you cannot do two jobs. It doesn't affect me what I did. I can carry on doing what I did. In fact, this facilitated my job. So I could focus on what I can do, and the team looked after the important things which relate to the commercialization. So absolutely, it was perfect.
All right. So, Matej, what was your journey as an entrepreneur? I think it was a mirror image of basically what Nick just said.
So my journey began with pure curiosity. I saw the invitation for the ignition qualifiers on LinkedIn from one of the Croatian partners, and I just decided to apply to learn something, to try to figure out what is the best approach for technology startups. And I have some previous interest in microalgae, so it was really like a eureka moment when one of the scientist presenters was also the scientist who is specialized in growing microalgae. So it was kind of fit on the first scene. And after the ignition event, we decided to join the Commercialization Reactors program to register our startup, to apply for funds from Commercialization Reactor fund, and it was really a rewarding experience because as somebody coming from technological background, engineering background, is interesting to see this economy, marketing, and business development approach to problem solving, and to see what are the important stuff that you need to focus on. And also, as colleague said, it's really a rewarding experience to work with someone who is not from your background, who is not talking technical language or scientific language, but who is talking business language, and you need to educate yourself on this terminology, on their approach, on their way of thinking. And one of the most important things that I learned is that engineers tend to, when they make something that is really hard to make, or when scientists make some research that is really quality research, they sometimes think in the way that, if you build it, they will come. But it's not that way. It's a really hard work behind getting these good solutions, good technologies to market, to develop the companies, to get even the potential customers interested in your product. So this was quite a journey, and it still is. So I'm really thankful for the opportunity that the commercialization reactor is providing also for the scientists and for the entrepreneurs and everyone who wants to be entrepreneur, because there is no special qualifications that you need to have to start this journey. So I would like to thank you guys for giving us this opportunity and to learn, to grow, and hopefully to earn us and you a lot of money.
That's great. That's great to hear that. And wrapping up on what you both just mentioned, basically it is about entering symbiotic relationship between different worlds of thinking, between different, probably same values and same purpose in the end of the day, that you both are willing to make something great, but everybody is doing his job that he's passionate about. So for entrepreneur, it's about making things happen. And for scientists, it's about perceiving beauties of nature through intellectual instruments, which is probably a bad idea to sabotage in both cases. So, Alina, what is your thought? My next questions would be to Aline and Ilona to think about this as representatives of accelerators, of investment domain. How do you see this symbiotic relationship being important in terms of overall deep tech scene worldwide?
I mean, it's very, very important. Both, it was great to hear the examples of the entrepreneur and also the researchpreneur, but also the collaboration with the ecosystem, with other members of the ecosystem, and being part of the supporting ecosystem in deep tech development. Our role is to connect these entrepreneurs with resources, being that other team members, but also capital, to further develop their innovation and also to scale it successfully. So collaboration, value creation, it's key. Not only within the team, but also within the ecosystem as a whole.
And you also see it from the EIC jury side, that this, I believe, makes a more healthy team, more healthy, more stable development roadmap process, because everybody is doing their job that they're passionate about.
Yes, and also now at the EIC, for example, the ecosystem there is growing in order to bring together different actors that can better support the startups that has been supported by with the financial resources from there. So I see that the ecosystem is maturing, it's getting more mature within Europe in different geographies, and that's very important for the entrepreneurs and for Europe as a whole.
In fact, with the EIC, I believe when it's first phase, there's the AI that is doing the evaluation. So it even evaluates the, let's say, the equalizing of your team, how you have both parts of all domains covered.
Yes.
So which means that there is tendency towards this type of thinking, that it is nothing is solo anymore. Everything is about collaboration, it's about cross and interdisciplinary things.
And balance.
Ilona, what would be your take on this, on importance of those synergies?
First of all, from an investor's perspective, you can have a great technology or you can have a great idea, kind of representing both of the worlds, the scientific and the entrepreneurial. But for investors, team is crucial. And let's say a team should be full in terms of capabilities to implement what the team is dreaming of. So that is why both parts of the world should be present in a startup. So if it's just the scientist believing that the scientific development, no matter how great it is, should be put to the market, the entrepreneurial skills should be put in order to bring that great idea to market. From investors' perspective, it's also important to see how the team develops, how they can work together, and From the investment readiness perspective, investors usually evaluate if, let's say, there is a good team, if there is a team that is glued together to implement what they are dreaming about. So first of all, there should be all the skills and capabilities present, and from the second perspective, there should be a chemistry between the people who are working together.
So in order to make the company investable in 2023 and beyond, there is no way to compromise on those kind of things. And I believe Arnis also understands this as ecosystem player from the government side. And I wanted to state that we have scientists, entrepreneurs, investors, accelerators, all gravitating towards this idea of creating deep tech startups and running those. And it is important for, let's say, policymakers, for government representatives to really keep track on that, because it allows to create gravitational centers to pull those talents together. Therefore, various programs are being launched by Riga Dome. And it's important also to mention that we have a scientist entrepreneur from UK and Croatia, but in the end of the day, creating a company in Latvia, which is a truly remarkable thing. So what type of instruments do you have, are you planning to support this continuation of creating, let's say, a gravity center for deep tech startups?
Yes, yes, hello, and it's quite important also from a local or national level to support the businesses, support the new businesses like startups. And in Riga, we have created the following support mechanisms or programs, which I divided by follow categories. For the first category is for investment attraction. We're calling this support mechanism as vocation, and the idea of that is that company who is not operating or registering in Latvia, they can come to Riga to see what is the business environment, what is the culture, and so on, and actually to live here and understand what happened. This is and of course the local Riga city covering the costs of accommodation and traveling. For startups, we created the support mechanisms like startup ecosystem and startup incubator accelerator programs, and in shortly, this is a support mechanisms when we're giving for organizations the power to develop actually this ecosystem here in Riga, to help for startups, to help for teams, to help to develop actually the new products here in Riga. And the third direction, I think, in my experience, when I'm talking with any kind of potential investors, always the central question is about talent availability. And here we have also the good support mechanisms. The first, I want to mention that we have this Work in Riga platform where everyone, job seekers or students or entrepreneurs, they can see in a structured way the different information, how to come to Riga, what is the job availabilities, what is the transport system, and so on, what you can do in evening time actually in Riga. This is not maybe the support program, this is more help to understand the simple question. But when we talk about the support program, we created the program by name Relocation, and this is again the monetary mechanism how the small medium business can get or move some talents from abroad to Riga to develop their own business. And again, we are supporting or covering part of costs for a limited period. This is a program which is created, but of course we are all the time thinking one step forward, and there are two programs which is on a way to create in this year. The one program is a startup house, or home, actually home. And yeah, this is a long story when we're talking about Riga city, but actually we want to find in the beginning the operator who can establish and operate with these new startups where these entrepreneurs, where the ideas can come and actually to live together with the professionals and so on. And the second, the new program is related to talent availability. And so I'm proud that Riga is providing some, again, the monetary mechanism to talk with the diaspora, with the people who immigrate from Latvia and Riga some time ago, because now the time is changing. We have good environment in Riga, we have good level of living here, just to get those people back working for Riga and helping for different kind of businesses, including the startups.
Thank you for this elaborate description. But there's a lot of, what I heard a lot was the word talent. So talent attraction, talent motivation, it is indeed very important. But I would also like to ask the question, because the idea, the mission of the panel is to trigger souls, to trigger interest in souls that are willing to create their startup, but are currently not doing it for some reason to do so. So, and I would like to ask Ilona, Aline, and Nick a question related to scientists. So, what would be some advice you would like to tell scientists that are deciding on stepping into the journey of creating their startup?
I'm the first, yeah?
Yes, you go.
Okay. So first of all, scientists need to identify themselves, whether they want to be entrepreneurs or scientists. There are both options possible, and I think there are quite clear pathways for each of them to follow. Let's say if a scientist decides to go the entrepreneurship way, then it eventually means that he leaves his research behind, so he leaves the university. But there are many of them who are not willing to do so. So first of all is to identify themselves. Yeah. Second of all is to understand the motivation. Why are you doing this? Yeah. So and the third one is to understand who is the team. And then, of course, to understand who are the players who can help you dealing with commercializing something that you have developed. So that would be my advice.
Okay, thank you very much. Alina, what would you say?
Aligned with what Ilona said, I think that seeking for support, because starting up a startup is already a big undertaking. A deep tech startup is even bigger. So looking within your institution, your tech transfer office, or just to see if to get support in the early validation of your technology or innovation, and also to find to get support in finding resources to further developing it forward, being that other team members. And also capital to develop that. And for that, programs like the Commercialization Reactor and our programs also are great to support companies in this journey. So finding, supporting organizations would be my tip.
Thank you very much, Alina. And cherry on the top, an opinion from a scientist.
Put it that way, but thank you. I could give you hours of advice, but and you're very welcome to catch me. I'm more than happy to chat. But the main thing to do is don't do the typical scientist thing, be threatened, or can I share this idea? Do. Trust these people. I was very blessed to work with bright minds that need to understand where you're coming from, show them your enthusiasm, because you will be enthusiastic about your science, but share it. It is my responsibility as a scientist to make them understand the science, the principle, how it's going to work. Trust them. Let them ask you questions where you think, oh, I remember even early days, the guys with the team were asking me questions that I thought, no, I haven't thought of that. And you will be able to benefit from this. You don't have to have two jobs. I followed the path of, I'm carrying over the science. These guys know they're looking after the business side. And be prepared to be asked questions that you don't expect and enjoy it. That's what I would say, but yeah.
All right, so but basically I believe what all three of you were mentioning is to utilizing knowledge that is around you and not staying, with your head I don't know, in the sand, how to tell it properly. So, but really go out there, learn different tools, instruments that are available to bring your dreams come true. So, and for all the audience that is referring themselves, identifying themselves as scientists, I would really like to suggest not missing out on some opportunities that we do have as Commercialization Reactor for helping you within the specific mindset transformation course, which is free of charge, to help you understand what is your path, what is your journey that you are willing to take as a potential co-founder in the future. So would you be willing, as Ilona mentioned, would you be willing to become an entrepreneur, or would you like to continue, as Nick mentioned, doing what he loves with science? So, but one very interesting question, and this is probably to change, to show perspective to scientists, that the business development step is extremely important, and that the vision that with which scientist starts, it doesn't necessarily will be the final vision of the product. And therefore, I would like to ask this question also. I would refer this to Matej and Nick. So how far, in this case, so for Matej, how different is the company's direction in terms of business idea in comparison to what you had when you first met the scientists?
Well, we are currently at our second iteration, but now we are going in the way of the third one, because especially in the early stages of startup, it's okay to fail, it's okay to pivot, it's okay to try something, and if it doesn't work, to change the idea and to explore and trying to find the best fit for your technology. And maybe sometimes it's just close to what you were thinking, and sometimes is the exact opposite of what you were thinking. So to everyone who is trying to go to this journey, it's okay to fail, it's okay to experiment, it's okay to try different things, as long as you are persistent and you are willing to move forward and keep doing it, it will be okay. And there is always a lot of people whose not only job is to help you to guide it through this, but also whose passion is to help young entrepreneurs, startups to succeed in their mission.
Thank you, Matej. So basically, business development, what you just mentioned, wrapping up, is full-time your headache. So, and therefore, Nikolaos, how do you enjoy not having this headache? And yeah, how does it look for you?
You know, it's very interesting, because the fact that they're doing all this hard work doesn't mean you can't learn, and you do, and you think, oh yeah, that's really interesting, I didn't think about it this way. And as things develop, you are learning too, so you're gaining some of these skills, you understand how things work commercially, you learn as well. But it is fantastic that the guys are doing that work, and you can continue to do your own science. So yeah, it's very, very good, but you're still learning. And also, from my personal experience, the guys that were working on the business side were asking questions as the product was developing. We actually did different science as part of this, so it informed what we do as well. So yeah, excellent.
Thank you very much. And we have 1 minute left. I would like to ask, because we now just talked about science, what would be your advice to entrepreneurs that are sitting there and thinking what to do next, what to commit to, what is the area that you want to dedicate your next couple of years? Why deep tech? Matej, I would like to hear you, also Aline, Arnis, and Ilona on this. We have really little moment, maybe like 10-15 seconds each.
So,
and Aline and Nick as well.
So my advice to anyone who wants to be an entrepreneur, who wants to go on this deep tech journey, is to quote the slogan of a known company: "Just do it." You know, nothing stops you.
Everything starts with doing.
And
Alina, what's your take?
And that would be my advice too. I think that it's a great time to start a deep tech startup. There is a lot of opportunities in there. There is a lot of support. So just get started and collaborate and look for value creation.
Thank you. Ilona?
I can only commend the same as Alina, that first of all, look for successful collaborations, because this is a hard journey. You shouldn't be alone, definitely. You should rely on your super team to succeed. And exactly, now it's really a great time, because there is quite straightforward pathway for you to develop your deep tech startups with lots of different instruments available out there.
Any final thoughts?
I just can add that Riga is a great place where to come and create the business.
Thank you. Nick, what would you suggest to fellows on that side?
And from my point of view, I'm actually very excited for you, because not only are you having the opportunity to realize your dream in terms of making impact in the world, but also you personally, as a scientist, I've seen the support that the Reactor is giving to these startups, and it felt like a support network that supported the entrepreneurs and my colleagues in the company. So it felt like it supported me. So make the best out of it.
Thank you very much, everybody. So wrapping up this in 10 seconds, it is all about community. And all you have to do is just grab what is in front of you, in this case, intellectual instruments, and make sure you don't miss your life. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you.
To our panel, Ilona, Anton, Nikolaos, Aline, Arnis, and Matej, thank you for the attention. Thank you for the valuable knowledge we've all deserved, and now we can get a coffee break. We're closing this stage until 10 minutes past 3. See you back in half an hour. Thank you very much. Thank you.